Hi, students, and welcome to our April 8th math lesson today. It's so good to see you all. We're going to start with our do now, where we're going to talk about reframing. We've talked about this before. We're going to put a little bit of a different spin on it this time. Our objective will be to add and subtract polynomials. It's our newest topic that we just started. And our essential question asks, what rules must I remember when adding and subtracting polynomials? Our assignment will be to complete our do now, complete our work page, complete our exit ticket, and make sure you show me any work that you have completed. That's the most important thing. That's how you get your credit. So remember, if you don't finish, still show it to me, but you can finish for homework if you need to. And it's important to know that the third marking period is now closed. We're now in the fourth marking period, so finish strong. Okay, there's our exit tickets. We'll get back to that in a minute. So here we go. Let's sort these statements. We have two categories, statements that are good to let go and statements that are helpful, reframing statements. So let's see, we have what's wrong with me? Maybe I should try something different. I know if I keep trying, I'll see something new. I'm lazy. This must be easy for most people, or I don't have to let mistakes frustrate me. So I want you to take those statements and put them in one of the two boxes. Where do they belong? And then we can talk about that for a few minutes in class. So let's get started with our adding and subtracting polynomials. First, we are going to write each polynomial in standard form. So that would be ABC order and also largest exponents first. So decreasing exponents. Okay, so number one, we'd start with 9x, and because the positive sign is in the front, that can be an invisible positive sign, 9x minus 14. The second one, we're going to start with 7w to the second power, but then we need the negative 2w with the invisible exponent of 1. That has to come next. And then the constant, which is the number by itself, in this case, plus 25, will go last. Okay, for number 3, first we have negative 4a squared. Don't forget to include the negative sign with that 4a squared. And then we're going to have our 17a, and that's positive 17a with an invisible exponent of 1, and then the constant of negative 1 at the end. Number 4, we're going to start with 2p to the third power. Then we'll have this negative 16p to the third power. And then 3p, this is an invisible positive sign, so it's plus 3p, and that will be last. And there is no constant with that particular problem. And on number 5, we have exponents of 8m squared and m to the third. So we'll start with that positive 9m to the third. And so we took care of that. Now this positive 8m squared, and then this negative 4m, and that's an invisible exponent of 1. And then finally our constant of minus 6. And then number 6, we start with the highest exponent. So all of these are one letter, so we don't have to worry about ABC order because they're only one letter each problem. But we will start with that negative 2k to the third power, and then that plus 14k to the second power. Then our the next thing is our k, and that is an invisible 1k, and it's also invisible positive sign, so that would just be plus k, and then our constant at the end, minus 17. Now, remember, to add and subtract polynomials, you must combine like terms. Okay, remember, they have to be absolutely alike. So we have addition, we've got 3a plus 6 plus 6a plus 7. 3a plus 6a is 9a. And positive 6 plus 7 is plus 13. Number 8, 4n minus 6 minus 3n plus 2. So 4n plus 3n, it's subtraction, so it's 4n minus 3n is 1n, and we can drop the 1, that's an invisible 1. Then we have negative 6 plus 2, that would be negative 4. Because it's negative 6 plus a negative 2, and that's the same as negative 6 plus 2. So n minus 4 for this one. Number 9, 4x plus 7 minus 8 minus 3x. So they're a little bit out of order. We're going to have to take care of that. First, we have 4x minus negative 3x, okay? We are subtracting a negative. That's a not. So we make them positive, and that would be 7x. We took care of that. Now we have 7 minus 8, which is negative 1. So the final answer is 7x minus 1. Number 10, we have 9c minus 2 plus 1 minus c. So let's start with the c terms. We have 9 minus 1. There's an invisible 1 there. So 9 minus 1 is 8. So that would be 8c. Now for the constants, we have negative 2 plus 1. Negative 2 plus 1. So that would go back toward the positive, but not up to 0. It would be negative 1. So 8c minus 1. Number 11, okay, we have trinomials, 3 terms. We'll start with the x squared plus x squared. They each have an invisible 1, so x squared, 1x squared plus 1x squared is 2x squared. Now, we have 7x plus 6x, and that's positive 13x. We did those. And then negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. And that's our final answer. Number 12, we're subtracting, so let's be very careful. We have v to the second power minus 6v. So this is an invisible 1. So what we have here is 1 minus 6, which is negative 5. So that would be negative 5v. Then we have 7v minus 4v. Well, 7 minus 4 is a positive 3v. I forgot to put the squared on the first term. So that is finished. And then we have negative 5 minus negative 5. Negative 5 minus negative 5, that's one of those not-nots. I cannot subtract a negative 5 because I have to add it, and that would equal 0. So we don't put the 0, that becomes an invisible 0. So it's 5v squared plus 3v. Now number 13, they're mixed up, so we're going to start with the highest exponent first. They're all c's. 4c squared plus a negative 2c squared. So that effectively is 4 minus 2. Let me write that correctly. So that's 4 minus 2, which is 2c squared. And then negative 8c plus negative 8c. So negative 8 plus negative 8 is negative 16. Same sign, add and keep the sign. So negative 16c. And for our constants, we have 1 plus 1, which is 2. Okay, number 14, we are subtracting, so let's keep that in mind. We have 4k to the second power minus 5k to the second power. So 4 minus 5 is negative 1. We will just write negative k means negative 1k to the second power. Now we have negative 4k minus 9k. Negative 4 minus 9 is negative 13. So that would be negative or minus 13k. And now the constants will be last. 5 minus negative 2. 5 minus a negative 2, which is 5 plus 2, which is 7. And that's a final answer for that. So try a few of these on your own and then come back to the video and let's see how you do. So, okay, I hope you've been working on these. We'll start with, we have subtraction on number 13, 7m squared plus 10m squared. Well, I'm sorry, minus 10m squared. So it's 7 minus 10, which is negative 3. So that would be negative 3m squared. Now we have the m's, we have an invisible 1, m minus 2m. So it's 1 minus 2, which is negative 1. So that would be negative 1m, but the 1 will be invisible, so we just write negative m. And then we have negative 3 minus 3, and that's negative 6. And that's our final answer. And number 16, we have r squared, which is 1r squared, plus 6r squared. So that would be 7r squared. Then negative r, that's negative 1r plus 2r. So it's negative 1 plus 2 equals positive 1. So that's plus r. And then the constant, we have 1 plus negative 3, which is 1 minus 3, which would be negative 2, and that's the last term in our trinomial. Now, number 17, find the sum, that means we're adding, of 3 minus a minus 5a squared and a minus 7a squared minus 3. So first, I'm adding them together, so order does not matter, but I will write them in standard form. So I will have, for the first one, I'm going to have negative 5a squared minus a plus 3. And then I'm going to add to that 7a squared plus a minus 3. So negative 5 plus 7. So negative 5 plus 7 equals 2. So that would be 2a squared. Now negative a plus a, it's negative 1 plus 1, and that equals 0. So the a's go away. And 3 minus 3 also equals 0, so they go away and cancel as well. And the final answer is 2a squared. Who would have known? Now we're going to find the difference of 5k squared minus 7k plus 6 and 3k minus 4k squared plus 1. So I don't like when they write them like this because it's hard to tell which one should go first. But I'm going to start with 3k minus 4k squared. Actually, let's write it in standard form. My eraser doesn't seem to be working. That's not good. Let's change the color and then try the eraser. Well, I guess we'll just write it next to it. I'm going to write it in standard form. So I'm going to do the difference of 5k. I think I'm going to start with the 5k squared minus 7k plus 6 minus negative 4k squared plus 3k plus 1. Okay, 5k squared minus -4. 5 minus -4 equals 9. So 9k squared. -7 minus 3, so that would be -7 minus 3 is -10k. And then 6 minus 1 is a +5. And number 19, subtract 8v negative 3v squared plus 6 from 7 minus 6v plus 5v. So 7, actually, let's write it in standard form. Still have that problem. So let's write it in standard form. We'll start with 5v squared minus 6v plus 7, and we'll subtract 8, want to start with the 3. 3v squared, and that's negative 3v squared plus 8v plus 6. Okay. 5v squared minus 3v squared is 2v squared. Negative 6v minus 8, so negative 6 minus 8 is negative 14v. And 7 minus 6 is 1, and that's our final answer. And what is 8x plus 11 less than the product of -2 and x minus 7? Well, first we have to do -2 times x minus 7, and we distribute. So that would be -2x plus 14. Okay, so from that, -2x plus 14, we're going to subtract. There we go. We're going to subtract 8x plus 11. Okay, so -2x minus 8x, -2 minus 8 is -10x. 14 minus 11 is a +3. -10x plus 3. That's your final answer. So let's go back to our exit ticket, which asks, when I add polynomials, I must remember to combine like terms. And I do have a fun activity for you if you finish early. I've got Bamano. I know you guys love that. And I also have some word scrambles for you to do. So enjoy those. Thank you for your hard work. I love when you work this hard. I love that you're staying the course through the year, working hard, and getting ready for 9th grade. Remember, with practice, you'll be great.